Holiday tips for sex addicts. This is very important, especially if you're early in recovery. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do. There's so many, literally hundreds of videos that can help you. And if you have a question, put it in the box. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, holidays are unique to every person. You have different family systems, different family traditions, different personalities, different stages of life. And if you're a recovering sex addict, especially if you're early in recovery, holidays can be challenging. They're challenging for several reasons. Number one is us. Because if we've been addicted for years or decades, we're spiritually and emotionally, morally immature. So the challenges of the holiday can be emotionally a little overwhelming. You know, if you've lost a family member, you moved, you've lost a job, there's changes in your life or in their lives. People got divorced, they're widowed now. Things change every year. Seasons of life change. And so we don't really know how to manage emotions. I'm going to highly recommend before the holidays, as soon as possible, get the book Emotional Fitness. It teaches you how to feel your feelings, communicate your feelings, and to switch your feelings. But this is what's going to be really hard. If you know what the challenges are for you, you know, maybe it's the loss of the perfect family, or maybe it's the reality of the imperfect family, or really the toxic family that you might have grown up in and yet you're going home. And so you need to understand what your issues are, because I can't do that, but I can help you to understand you need to be able to master your feelings. That's number one as a sex addict. That's really, really important. The next thing you want to do is identify triggers for you and your spouse. You're both going to be in a situation around family members or in social situations, Christmas parties, New Year's parties, outdoor celebrations, indoor celebrations, where there are multiple people with multiple body types. And your spouse is probably going to run the risk of being triggered, as you could as well. Now, there's a great DVD called Triggered. If you can have your spouse watch that with you, that'd be really helpful, because there's different types of triggers and you want to have strategies around the different types of triggers, whether it's external, whether it's internal, whether it's a meaning trigger, and there's much more to that. But for you as a sex addict, if there are certain people you know that are in your extended family that you have sexualized or objectified, you need to make sure that you have a plan for that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that you're not alone in a situation with them, that you're not putting yourself, making sure you go in their car when you go to the mall and things like that. You need to be really intentional about avoiding people that you have sexualized in the past, or that you have had attractions to, or that you find yourself wanting to spend more time with, and you know it's going to cause your spouse pain. And this is whether you're a man or a woman. You know, you're a female sex addict, you run the same risk of having attractions. And so you want to make sure that you are managing your triggers that are external, your environment triggers, people triggers, but then also be aware of your emotional triggers. Maybe if you've had any relapses, you understand the feelings that you have, whether it's hopeless, rejection, fear, overwhelmed, stressed, that triggers you into your addiction. And that emotional trigger is just as important for you to understand. And it's really helpful if you are having triggers to have a code word with your spouse. You know, Batman, Robin Hood, it doesn't really matter what it is. It could be, you know, the color blue. But it lets your spouse know that, hey, I'm in a situation and I'm communicating with you by code that I need to do something different. And it might be as simple as just go outside and just go for a walk. It might be getting into a different room, or getting out of a conversation that is political, spiritual, or relational, that's just, you just don't want to get into it for the holidays. And maybe even practice some lines, like if you get triggered because you know uncle or aunt is going to, you know, have a certain line towards you about your life or your views on things, have a line back, like, it's the holidays, I'm not going to have that conversation with you today, I love you too much, okay? So have plans around your triggers if you know what those are. Another thing, you want to bookend every day with your accountability people. Call in the morning, check in with them, make sure you're still doing your five C's: pray, read, call, meeting, pray. Now the meeting might be a challenge, but you can just make a call and check in with somebody every day. And I would say check in the morning and check in the evening, and just be honest with what's going on. That can really help you. And have one phone number of a guy in your group or a girl in your group that you can know that's available for you. Like if you call them, they will get back to you shortly, because they're also in holiday situations that might be tricky. But have someone that you really can try to depend on so that you can bookend the morning and the evening. And if you do have a situation that's overwhelming, you have someone to process it with, especially if it includes your spouse, so that you can get back in there with your spouse or your family and enjoy what's going on. Now, lastly, I would say create a plan with your spouse. Have your keywords, but also if you're going to one of your families that's really toxic, it's okay to say, hey, we're going to stay in a hotel. And you don't need to give a reason. We're just going to stay there because that's what we want to do this year. That way you have a way of getting out, or have a plan of 2 or 3 things you want to do, so that if it starts getting a little awkward, you can say, hey, we wanted to go, to the aquarium or to the zoo or to something else that's in that environment. And you already have a plan in place, the name, the phone number, you can get a reservation set in, or you want to go to a certain restaurant and say, hey, we're going to skip out lunch. We're going to go to here because we like going to there. But have a plan that you and your spouse can agree on that can help both of you get through this, because the chances of, if you're getting triggered, that they're getting triggered, or if you start acting like that 4-year-old in your family again, that he or she has a code word with you so that you act like someone who has boundaries and acts like an adult and doesn't take, letting someone talk ill about your spouse, who will stand up for your spouse and not let them blame your spouse for any of your situation. And if you know the conversations you need to have with your spouse, you're an adult, try to have these way proactively, set up some plans, even practice using the code word, and so they can hear it and not react like, oh my gosh, you're going to act out. No, I'm just telling you I need to change my situation. It can be as simple as green, red, yellow. Yellow is like, yeah, this is getting weird. Red is, I need to get out. Give me an excuse. Let's talk about, something. So get yourself support and preemptively think through the things that could be challenges for you and make a plan around those. The holidays can be great, and you want to have community, and you can make the best you can. And you can also have community even with your recovery, people, and have some time with them over the holidays as well. I want to encourage you to make a plan and be clear. Now, if you need help, my office has been doing this for 40 years. You can call any of the counselors or coaches. They can help you, 719-278-3708. Some people just call with their spouse, make a plan together, because these counselors have been doing this for sometimes 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And they might have a lot more ideas than you do. And it's worth a half hour or an hour that you spend to get a couple ideas. I always find talking to someone who knows what they're talking about is worth the time. So if you need to do that, feel free to give us a call. If you're in a situation that is a crisis, come do an intensive, do the neuromodulation, do the things you need to do to get your addiction further down the road quick as possible. Well, we want you to have an incredible, Christmas, New Year's, holidays, on everything that you got going on. But if you need us, we'll be there for you.